Broken Homes. This is a podcast for musicians and artists alike. My name is Mark.
And I'm Renegade.
And we're going to talk with folks about anything from new releases to tour stories.
The good, the bad, and the worst. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome to Ragged Bones, a Robbers Roost podcast. Go ahead and tell everybody who we're hanging out with today, Renegade.
Today we are hanging out with Butterflies of Death from Seattle, Washington.
Go ahead and name yourselves individually and what you play.
Hey, I'm Graham. I play the charango and I growl.
Yes. What is a charango, though? Let's
charango is a 10-stringed Peruvian sort of Incan instrument. It's very similar to an ukulele, but it's an indigenous instrument from South America. That's played kind of fast and
I love
pitched,
it.
You know?
Hey, I'm Corey, and I play accordion.
My name's Kurt, and I play percussion, which is made up of a kick drum and a stump fiddle.
I love it.
Hey, I'm Dante, and I play the baritone ukulele.
Nice. I love it. I love the instrumentation.
And we also have a member who's not here today because he's out busting down tents and stuff on the East Coast. He's a roustabout, working as a roustabout, but he plays the tuba as well for.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's a sousaphone.
Sorry, it's a sousaphone.
Sousaphone.
Okay. Sorry. I always get the two confused.
How
I'm
would
not even sure if
you...
it's that. I think it's something else too.
Well,
It's got some other name.
Tuba,
Anyway.
I
never know what these things are.
How would you describe y'all's music?
Well, I'd say that we're folk punk, but more probably punk than folk. You know, I mean, to be honest, we're Americana, sort of growly, gravelly, sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's ever changing too, as we keep getting new band members and adding new things here and there, and some people stay, some people leave. So,
Did you just get on the event? I put folk jazz punk.
I like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So how long have you guys been active as Butterflies of Death?
I think it's been about 6 years. Is that right? Yeah, it's been
Going
about
strong.
6 years. Yeah. I started Butterflies of Death. This is Graham back in the playing in the back of a bar with my charango because I wanted to learn how to play it, and so I started watching YouTube videos, and I found out that it was tuned like a ukulele. So I just started learning songs like that were
I didn't know
ukulele
that.
chords.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that's how I started learning it, and then also watching how people played the charango and saw that it was actually a pretty punk rock instrument. And then started adding these awesome guys. Kurt started playing with these awesome people. Kurt joined in afterwards. Kurt, you want to go from there?
Well, I joined probably 5 years ago. I think you guys were already around for about a year before that, maybe something like that.
Longer,
It's a whole new lineup now. Been through a lot. It's been fun.
That's right. Yeah. So through the years, we've gone through a couple of different. We've basically have formed around sort of the core lineup of sort of accordion, ukulele, and percussion, and then having and
bass.
A bass line with some sort of like horns and stuff because we just kind of wanted to have everything in there.
Yeah.
A lot of the point was always about sort of busking and being able to never need to plug in. And so just being able to
anywhere,
just being able to sort of throw down, either like around a campfire or like, on a street corner. And a lot of that's actually sort of what drove a lot of the sound, was sort of the need to shout over everything else going on around you. And also being able to like at least attempt to draw a crowd. Right?
Yeah.
And so that was it.
Cool. Where did the name come from?
So I'll take that one. This is kind of a complicated story. You want the short story? Or you want the long story?
That's really your call.
Okay. Well, So I study anthropology, and I actually am a professor of anthropology at the University of Washington. And I've been doing sort of all this studies throughout. What's that?
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug there. Yeah, that's right.
I'm impressed.
Well, I blame Bad Religion. So, so anyway, I was basically finishing up my schooling and stuff, through the last years of being in the band and stuff. And one of the things early on that I learned about was this thing about different sort of environmental causes leading to stories that have commonly shared across people across the world. It's called homoplasy, right? And it's the idea. It's sort of like concurring evolution. So two things evolve very similarly within similar environments, but they're totally disconnected. And so an example of this is butterflies of death. And so I thought it was a really neat story. It's basically there's these moths. They're not butterflies actually. They're called black witch moths or Osceola moths, and they have this really wide sort of migrational pattern all across the equator, and so they're those really huge moths. Have you ever seen pictures of them that have the big yellow sort of eyes on the back? Yep. Not the skull, not the skull thing that's in like Silence of the Lambs, but the ones that looks like eyes, right? Mm-hmm. And so these things like, people create, housing as shelters, and then they have fires in them, and, moths are attracted to light. And so like these things would fly in, and then they'd like flap in, and they'd sound really loud and scary, and they'd flap up against a wall. And the eyes, on the back of those yellow circles would, shine in the firelight, and so people would see them as these scary portents of doom. And so this very similar sort of story developed about that. If you saw one of these butterflies, like a family member would die, or there'd be some sort of death that would be coming. And so the butterflies of death sort of came out of that as this sort of idea of this.
I love it. That's good. It's,
The short version is I'm an anthropologist. that's it.
I'm an anthropologist. I think too much about shit.
Okay, so
that story may or may not be true, by the way.
Let's toss a coin over it, right? Okay, so let's do some individual stuffs. What do you guys do outside of music?
I work as a veterinary assistant. I love my job, so that's where I spend most of my time. Obviously, love working 40 to 50 hours a week. I'm sure, but at least I get to do it somewhere that I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I like to do like woodworking and stuff like that, and go to shows, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Dante still. Yeah, so I ride bikes mostly, and besides that, I just play a lot of music. I don't know, play video games or whatever.
Same.
Yeah. So yeah. No.
Yeah, totally. You like bikes, fixed gear, or just in general, bikes in general?
So mostly road bikes.
Yeah.
I'm part of an annual bike riding music tour of the Salish Sea, and so next year will be our 10th year. And
that's cool. Yeah.
We play shows at night and ride bikes to the next town during the day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So because
Mob Roll, right?
Yeah, it's called Mob Roll. And you gotta say Mob Row, or else people are talking about cigarettes. But
I didn't think
it's but it's like my favorite thing I do every year. And I'm at this point I'm like the main organizer now.
Nice. That's cool. Totally.
Booking all the shows and stuff.
Probably keeps you pretty busy doing that too.
Yeah, for sure. And then every year we donate all the proceeds to a local nonprofit.
That's awesome.
So
hell yeah.
There's also communicating with them and figuring out what nonprofit. And Graham actually helped me a little bit try to dive into the world of nonprofits or whatever. So
cool. Oh yeah. What about you, Sarah?
Oh hey, yeah, I'm Corey. So outside of music, I like to draw and everything. So I actually just got my first tattoo machine not that long ago. I'm gonna try to get into tattooing, and also I've been like a lifelong martial artist. Like that's something that I've done my whole life. So
can we ask what belt you are? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I guess that's a thing. But I mean, I got a reversible belt on right now. It's brown on that side, black on the other.
That could do some damage. I love the diversity between y'all too, like on what you guys do. Like your woodworking and like your bikes and like you're a professor and then like martial art. This is insanity, guys. I love it. Like, what do we do? I mean, like, yes. What do you do, sir?
So, so this is Graham. So as I mentioned, I'm a professor at the University of Washington in anthropology. I have been working with people who live in vehicles. Similar to what I think you guys do often, or it's part of your normal life. I've been working with people living in vehicles for about 10 years now, I helped to start some of the safe parking programs here, actually the ones here in Seattle, and then I've worked with a lot of communities across the West Coast in helping to develop places for people to park off the street.
Awesome.
And connect with services if they want to. Not everybody wants to connect with services.
Yeah.
And really sort of bringing awareness of the fact that there's a growing number of people who see their vehicle as their sort of optimal form of housing because, we have this growing displacement that's occurring in our communities, that there's a lot of with economic shifts and the inability for people to afford to live in many cities, and yet that's where a lot of the jobs are. That because of people being pushed out of these communities, more and more people are living in their vehicles for many different reasons, and without a space to get off the street. To be honest, you get hit with tickets, you get hit with impounds, and you get hit with all this garbage that really doesn't help.
Yeah.
And so, so I do that. I've run a nonprofit for a while, as Dante was talking about, and so I used to. I don't do it anymore now because I'm was focused on wrapping up my degree, but I've been. Ran a community meal for about 7 years in Ballard, and just do a lot of stuff. And so a lot of this stuff comes. I when I was a kid, I was a teenage runaway, and so it's sort of when I was able to give something back, I wanted to be able to do it in this way. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I was also an outreach provider for many years as part of that. So that's also part
That's
of it. So I
cool.
write a lot about sort of how to improve outreach techniques and how to better connect people with the help they may want. So.
That's incredible. Hell yeah. Do you guys have any animal friends? And if so, what are there and what are their names? Dante?
Shoot.
I mean, nah, man.
Oh man.
My name's Kurt. I have a big, beautiful cat named Buddy.
Buddy.
Corey,
Or
do you
you
have
guys
any
got-
animals?
Man, no. I mean, my roommate's got a bunch of animals. They're pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, got 2 cats, 2 dogs.
Sweet. Graham, you got any animals?
Oh shit. I have. Yes, I have to say yes. I have many animals because my loving partner would kill me if I didn't claim that they were all mine as well. So as part of our family, yes, we have an awesome dog and a whole bunch of tarantulas and rats and cats and
Dang.
fish, and she wants to get chickens, and we got a little zoo.
You got a little zoo.
We got a little zoo. It's a little menagerie over there. So yeah, we have many furry friends.
That's awesome. While we're going off of the music thing and talking about random stuff, what's the worst movie you guys have ever seen? What's the worst thing you can
man.
think of? You're like this,
Worst movie.
and just like horribly
Elf.
put together,
Oh, my
horrible
goodness.
script, horrible
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain.
Don't watch Blood Rain, guys.
Yeah. It's. I'm almost positive it was based on the video game. So it's like.
Is it a horrible game too? Is it?
Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't. Yeah, but for sure. Yeah. It'd be pretty difficult to make a movie based off a video game and have it be good. You could say maybe the Mario movie.
Oh, I heard about that. Yep.
Yeah,
I got one. Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
That movie
Yeah.
fucking sucked, dude.
Yeah,
That
it was
movie
bad.
sucked.
Well, I just watched that movie Hereditary, and I hated it.
I'm glad to hear that because I thought about watching it and now I don't have to.
I mean, they could have took an
Problem
hour out of
solved.
that movie, and it would have been a lot better.
Geez, I don't even know. I mean, I love so many movies, and
Same.
I love all movies for even when they're horrible. Like I could name like Troll 2, or you've got like some like I mean, there's some really like
horrible
horrible
one's good, though.
movies. But
What
like,
about
I mean,
the
that's the thing
original-
is, the more horrible they are, the more I love them. You know,
What about the
I mean, like
original
all I can think is
Stargate?
like sort of like the right wing propaganda movies.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro
Oh,
crap or
no.
something like that. I'm thinking like that would be the ones.
Oh, let's see.
Man, I just gotta say though, because it just came out on Netflix. But if you haven't seen Dolomite Is My Name yet,
Oh, yeah.
you should
I heard that's
definitely
good.
watch that. I didn't know about Rudy Ray Moore, but apparently he's the godfather of rap. 'Cause,
Oh,
like
wow.
as a comedian, he would like rhyme all of his jokes together,
Whoa.
and like inspired a bunch of like early rappers in the
That's
80s
cool.
and 90s.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
I had no
thank
idea.
you.
Yeah.
So
I know
please
that.
watch that.
What's it called again?
Dolomite Is My Name.
Okay, cool.
And, yeah.
We'll have to look that up. Oh,
So
yeah.
I want to give a shout out for the best movie ever.
Okay.
Is that the next
Do it.
question?
Yeah,
No, but
we can
do
do
it.
that. Like,
The Jerk with Steve Martin.
I agree. That's a
Okay,
damn good
I
movie,
gotta
okay?
say
It's
that
pretty cute.
is the greatest
Yeah.
film
Yeah.
ever made.
We covered
Only-
that song.
What's that?
We cover that song.
No,
It's
yes,
super
I
cute.
know. Brenda Peters. Oh, I love that song. That was one of the first songs I ever learned how to play a ukulele because I love that song. I watched that movie when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I had a tape of it off TV, so it actually still has like the herpes medication, like commercials in the 70s and shit. But like, man, I gotta say that movie. Every single line is a punchline, right? There's no filler. There's no any other no matter how great comedies are, there's always some part that you have to get through to get to the next joke.
Oh, Army of Darkness was like that.
There is Army of Darkness is a claw. Okay, I'll give you that. That's a good one as well. But there's it's like every single line of that movie is classic. So
Yeah.
I just want to give it up for that one. That's a good one.
Okay, do you guys have any weird hobbies or do you collect anything?
I collect hats and these little fuckers I got up here called furry bones. You know?
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
they're cute.
Yeah, they're little animals with skull faces.
Cool.
And various bits and pieces of wood that I find everywhere.
Yeah, we're
that's
sitting on a
cool.
really beautiful wood bench that he made. It's incredibly gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Snaps for Kurt.
I collect records, which
Cool.
is
Oh, yeah.
kind of weird for 2019, but also not really somehow.
Yeah.
So
Do you have a really big record collection at this point?
it's not that big. I've been homeless for a long time up until about a year ago. So I don't have that many records.
I totally understand the
Yeah.
feeling.
Feel
But
that.
I got a lot of awesome underground records from my
Hell
friends.
yeah. That's awesome.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
So it's not about the amount of records you have; it's about what you have.
Quality,
Yeah,
not the
quantity.
awesome
quantity.
record collection. I have a
Right.
great record
Always.
collection, but
A bunch of stuff that nobody knows.
yeah. it means something to me.
Yeah, I don't have a collection of anything. I used to live out of that backpack over there, so it's like I kind of same boat as Dante, as far as all that
Feel it.
goes.
Yeah, I don't know if I collect any one thing. I've collected lots of stuff. I have a tendency to get into hoarding, so I try not to I have to stop myself from collecting too much stuff. So I
Yeah.
collected
You just
instruments.
collect data. That's
Yeah,
what you
I know. I
collect.
guess I was gonna say I collected instruments for a while, and then hats. So I'm always wearing these hats, and then now I collect books basically. So I have a huge library of
That's awesome.
anthropology
That's-
books.
yeah,
all
that's not a
about
bad thing.
and
Like-
sociology books and stuff.
Okay, so going back to the music thing, most recent release and/or tour plans or show plans. So what's coming up? You guys?
Yeah, we have a show in a week on November 8th at the Charleston in Bremerton. Who else with Dante?
Overhill Lane, which is my friend's band from Olympia. And I always want to call them garage pop because I think their sound is but they always just want to say that they're we're a pop band, and it's you guys have the craziest instrumentation.
Yeah.
It's not I don't know,
Yeah.
but I love them, and so it's with them, and then I'm gonna play a solo set, and then Adventure Drunk, who is my friend from Bremerton,
Cool.
singer-songwriter guy.
Yeah.
And I've played music with him a lot over the years. So.
Nice. And so that's our sort of our first show since
It's our coming out party.
Our coming out party, our cotillion after sort of our bringing a couple new members, Dante and Dave.
Sweet.
And then we're playing also a New Year's Eve
Thank
show.
you, Punks in the Woods, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, both of these guys joined us at Punks in the Woods and learned
yes.
all of our songs.
Whoa.
Dave did.
That's right.
Dan and Dante did.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But he played with John Underwood, which is awesome.
That's right. Yeah, but they learned. So anyway, they learned all of our songs. Dante learned all of our songs the day of that show.
Nice.
And
That's
ended up
awesome.
playing us
Yeah.
at Punks in the Woods. So
Impressive.
yeah. So we're also playing a New Year's Eve show. Basically New Year's Eve, December 28th.
Yeah. At Charleston also.
Yeah, at the
Cool.
Charleston as well in Bremerton, and that's with.
Like Trucklet Boys, I think Bird Teeth, I believe.
Sweet.
And Holy Locust.
Holy Locust.
That's a very good
lineup
show.
right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That's
Show.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be
So
fun.
be a big
everybody
show.
go out to the Chuck, the Charleston in Bremerton on December 8th and see Butterflies of Death with this new lineup.
Wait. November 8th.
November
November
8th.
8th. My bad,
November 8th, and then
December
December 28th.
28th. Yeah.
I tried.
That's right. Yeah.
We might make it for the 28th. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, just come hang out and see. Like, I'm down. That's a
Also,
stacked lineup.
thank you, Andy and Angel,
Yeah.
for doing what you do.
Hell yeah.
Always,
Yeah, that's the
Props
thing.
to the
Andy
people
and
at the
Angel
Chuck.
always.
Always.
What is your craziest tour story or just show story? Something, an experience, good or bad, that happened that is just unbelievable?
I got
You're
a-
going to tell the one, I bet. I was going to say.
I got a fun one. We played at the Chuck one time, and I totally left my instrument at home, my stump fiddle.
I heard about this.
And,
yeah.
and Andy was nice enough to give me an old mop stick from the back. and Graham and I ran down to the dollar store or whatever it was and bought a few things, and I just whipped one together real quick, and we were able to
I
play
love
with
it.
that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
so awesome.
a few things was a couple of pie pans and a can and a little box of bolts. Right? And so we just threw some bolts in the pie pans and duct taped it on the broomstick, and that was his
so
stump
awesome.
fiddle, which is really pretty
Yeah,
much
do you-
basically all
Do you
stump
still
fiddle
have
is.
that one too? Or
No, I actually
Oh.
I gave the mop stick back to
Oh,
him. so
yeah,
they could-
yeah,
Do you want to explain to people listening, if they don't know what a stump fiddle is, what it is that you...
Yeah, so stump fiddle is actually an old hobo instrument, basically built up of, it's just a stick, maybe 4 feet or so, and you get a couple pie plates, and you throw some BBs in there or what have you, rivet them together, and then oftentimes people would stretch old springs across the pie plates all the way up to the top and play those with a drumstick while you're hitting it up and down. I don't use the strings on mine because I use a kick drum.
Yeah.
So I just have the pie plates on it, and then I got a bell on it too to hit. So, and you can pretty much put whatever you want on a stump fiddle.
That's
So
awesome,
you can
yeah.
get
It sounds
around.
awesome.
Yeah, they're super
I was
rad.
wowed when I first saw it. I was like, what the hell is that? That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing if you look at the history too. Like they're saying, because people used to, it was an instrument to like. It's both it has a tone and a rhythm, right? And so
okay.
like it's played a little bit different than most instruments, and like you can find some like rad videos of like old.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
See, you're the first person I've seen play it. I didn't realize that was like an old instrument, like already a old hobo thing.
Yeah, I'm
you
glad
slap
we-
together.
I'm glad
Yeah,
we
thanks
just
for
talked about
sharing
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is that's what I'm talking about this podcast. Like you learn all sorts of weird shit. And you have no idea. That's why I
That's
love
badass.
doing this shit. It's like
Anybody else got anything crazy to talk
Oh
about?
yeah, okay, yeah. So my favorite story. Well, I don't know. We've had a lot of them, but so I think the one that sticks out to me the most is one of our early shows with sort of the full lineup with at least Kurt in the band. It was sort of like one of our first like sort of like bigger shows or whatever. We were hired to open up a weed store on
Oh, God.
420.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
yeah, that's awesome.
And it was we were
You'd
pretty
think
stoked.
so.
You would think so.
You think so?
And it was in kind of a rough neighborhood, and it was like they in particular it was built like sort of on top of a junkyard where there are all these like roosters running around, and it was pretty out there. And then we actually they set us up in this sort of I don't know, like big old room with a like a 4-foot stage, sort of like something out of like a
It's like at a county fair. Or
like a
something.
county fair,
okay,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. It was just like a county fair, and so then and there were all those like like benches right in front of it, like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so we started playing, and like they had no idea what they were in
like,
for.
"What is this?"
And a lot of the people there were like, I mean, they were playing like really loud like hip hop music and stuff, and then they had to drop the music for us to play, right? And there was this one person who was in there, this older
Everybody
woman.
left except for this.
Everybody left immediately except for
my
this
God.
one woman who was sitting there, and she was probably in her like maybe 70s or 80s, and she was eating a plate of food, glaring at us for interrupting her meal. We were just sitting there trying to get through the set.
It's the best practice we ever had.
Great, yeah. And so we just played the whole
Yeah,
set.
just
We played
played
our
the
whole
whole set,
45
like-
minutes right to that lady.
Oh no!
Nobody else.
Lady with your plate of food, you just
Oh,
didn't get
we
it.
had a chicken. We had a chicken watching.
It was great. It was pretty badass.
She just did not get it.
No.
Oh no!
I don't think she enjoyed it.
I guess so. But this story is a lot shorter. I have a lot of stories. This one's pretty short though. So I was playing this festival in Alaska, and Alaska has this really crazy thing where like between Memorial Day and Labor Day, on every weekend there's like some random festival in the middle of nowhere, usually like a bluegrass festival or whatever. And so I was playing at my friend's festival, and I was playing on Sunday, and on Sunday, like before all the music started, there was like an open mic section or whatever section, and I didn't know that about any of this, but I was doing my show thing. I like ate some acid because I wanted to be fine while I played and all that stuff. And my friend came up to me with her daughter, and she was like, "Hey, we missed the open mic session. Can she like play a couple songs before your set?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, totally."
Sure.
And then didn't think about it, and then I started tripping, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And so I get up on the stage, and I'm like, and she's like, she's 3 years old at the time, and she had like a Buzz Lightyear guitar, and totally didn't know how to play at all. She was just like strumming open chords or whatever. But and her mom and all her mom's friends listen to honky tonk, so she starts singing, and she's like got a really good honky tonk voice, like melody and everything, and it sounds great.
Wow.
And I usually play blues, so that's what I was kind of playing, and then I I had to like switch it up, and I was like, okay, I gotta like go follow her. But it was, and she was just like making up songs about how her mom wouldn't let her eat candy that day, or random stuff.
And you're just tripping like, oh my god.
How much that was tripping though?
No one knew.
Yeah, it was fun, but
Yeah, I can't do that. Like, more power to you. If I like am on any kind of hallucination, like, oh my god, I gotta go. No.
Yeah, no, I'm the same boat. Yeah.
Not here.
No,
not
especially
now.
not on stage. Hell
Yeah,
no,
that's
dude.
what
Don't
I'm
look at me.
That's what I'm saying. I don't exist.
Microdosing is fun for that.
Microdosing. Okay, yeah. I'll smoke a whole bunch of marijuana in illegal places, of course, right?
In legal places, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Corey? You got any
In my car.
favorite stories?
No, not really.
Man, a few words over here.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any paranormal stories or like ghost stories or alien stories or anything, or even
Bigfoot?
just like conspiracy theories,
Yeah, that's
that could
another one.
intrigue someone?
I do.
Go for it.
Okay. Do you guys have one? Would you mind jumping on that one? Do you
No,
guys have
I
any
don't.
good ones?
I don't have any
Okay.
of those.
So, I grew up in a haunted house, right? And this is weird because I have struggles with like believing in ghosts, like as an anthropologist and stuff, and like sort of the reality and the empirical evidence of ghosts, just to be completely honest. But I grew up in a haunted house.
But you've experienced this. Yeah.
For my whole life, actually, as a kid. And this house that I grew up in, it had burned down like years before we moved into it. My dad was a contractor, and so he built the house and or sort of rebuilt it on the foundations of this formerly burned down house. And when I was a kid, all growing up, I would sit there and right around 3 a.m., right, that witching hour that you hear about, but it's like weird because it's like really did. Like I would sit there and you would like if you sat in like the living room, you could like see down the hallway, and there was like the kitchen, and you could see this woman in white, this white dress would like walk through, right? And like I would see it every night, and you could hear the floorboards creaking and the whole thing. It scared the shit out of me, right?
Yeah.
And so like I would go running into my parents' house, like go into my parents' room, yelling like there's somebody in the house there, and everything, like all the time, right?
Did they ever believe you at all?
Well, no. I mean, not really. But I mean, I was like, always saying I got it. There was a ghost or whatever, and they kind of believed me. But like, they're not really, believers in that shit.
Yeah.
And and at that point, it's like 3 a.m. They gotta work. They're like,
tired,
shut up, get out of here, right?
Yeah.
But like, every morning. Now, to be fair.
To be fair.
I was drinking a 2 liter of diet of Dr. Pepper every night. And I was jacked out of my skull watching horror movies, because like,
But still, when you
I was
see
a
something
kid
like-
and it was Friday night or whatever, right? And that was the only reason why I was up at 3 a.m., to be honest, right? Otherwise I would have been sleeping. So that might be part of the story if we're, if we're honest with ourselves. But this, so this always happened. Anyway, so now fast forward. I had, when I was a teenager, I would have friends over and stuff, as a punk rocker, and we'd have shows and stuff, and I had buddies over all the time, and they would see it too, right?
Oh, damn.
But I had told them this story. So, like, I kind of figured that it was just like, oh, yeah, we're all
maybe,
part of this,
yeah.
mass hallucination type thing or
Yeah.
something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I have this empirical mind that I'm trying to figure out. No, there's got to be evidence.
There's got to be a rational explanation.
Got to be a rational explanation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, this is the trippy part of the story. If that wasn't trippy enough. So when I was like, I don't know, 20, my early 20s, I went down to there it is. When I was in my early 20s, I went down to visit my parents, right? Because I moved up here. This is all down in California, right? So I grew up down in California in the Bay Area, and so I went down from Seattle to visit my parents to bring down the woman who would be my wife. She's now my ex-wife, right? But she came down to visit my parents, to meet the parents and everything. And I had never told her this story, right? Because we'd only been dating for like maybe 6 months or something like that. And it just was a pretty obscure story. It just hadn't come up. And so the first night we're there, about 3 a.m. We're sitting there watching TV, and she goes, "Your mom's up." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, she just walked through the kitchen in a white dress." And I went, "No." The lady in white. Ha ha ha. And she goes, "What lady in white?" And I went, the lady. And she goes, "No, you've never told me that story." And for real, saw the same thing, heard the creaks, the whole thing. And so like,
Whoops.
I can't ever explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
But that's the thing.
That's
It's
intense
just there.
that
my
many
story.
years later,
Yeah.
For real, yeah.
An adult,
Uncommunicated
Yeah, totally
thing like
A
that.
lot
yeah.
of times they say it's like kids can see that stuff because they're more open to it and they have more of like a pure heart, and so it's just more like, I don't know, it shows itself to a kid. So it's interesting that you say an adult witnessed the exact same thing that you did all while growing up.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like I said, I saw it all as a teenager too, and as growing up too. So I mean, it never went away, and like my friends saw it too. So like who were also, in their like 20s and shit too. So like, I mean,
Did somebody die in the house whenever it was burnt down?
I tried to find out. To be honest, I never found out that there was, and actually, I don't believe there was. But I don't know. I mean, like, there's a lot of shit. Like, I mean, fuck, this is weird, but we actually found like a cannonball in the backyard, like buried in the backyard. Like, I mean, for real, like a huge, like big old, like metal cannonball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, California's got a long history. I mean, like a lot of that area was, I'm from San Jose, and like that place was, actually San Jose was founded in 1776.
What'd you do with the cannonball?
So, it sat on our whatever fireplace, hearth, threshold for decades until, I don't know, it disappeared.
Yeah, gone.
I don't know what
Cool thing
happened.
to have.
Yeah,
That would've been cool
Put
to
it
have.
on
It
the
was
bottom of your
pretty-
beat stick, man.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the cannonball was
Maybe
on
the
it.
cannonball
Maybe it was
was
a cannonball. Maybe she was
Ghost
killed by the cannon.
Smashing stages.
Okay, so what is the dumbest thing that you guys have been arrested for? And it's totally okay if none of y'all have been arrested, but let's start with you, Corey. What's the dumbest thing you've been arrested? Like I said, it's okay if you haven't. It's totally fine. That's actually probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Not on some kind of
Well,
FBI
you know, I
watch list.
haven't been exactly arrested, but I did get pulled off a train once.
Same.
So like
Yep.
that's a thing.
Yep.
You know.
That's a thing.
Did they give you a ticket and then just let you go, or?
Yeah, they wrote up a ticket and then supposedly sent it to the address that was on my ID. And
The address
so
you haven't been to in years.
yeah, and so I've never fucking seen the ticket. Who knows if it's still there? If it's still
I got a warrant
applies.
because I did that.
I have no idea. But yeah, I got pulled off in Oregon, and yeah. So I don't know if anything ever came of that. Like I don't even know if I have a warrant or anything for that.
Well, shit.
So, I mean, we'll see.
I've never been arrested, but I don't know how long ago this was, but I got put in handcuffs. Oh, it was like 10 years ago, actually, I want to say, or maybe 9 years ago. But I got put in handcuffs at Christopher Downey's house from the Truckbed Boys.
Oh.
Like 9 or 10 years ago, and because I don't know, he got raided.
Oh no.
And they thought he was like growing weed or something, and the only thing they found was like a graffiti book that matched like tags all over Bremerton or whatever, and it wasn't even his. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
I've been arrested a bunch of times. Well, let's start with the first one.
What's
I
your
guess.
name?
Strike that from the record.
Make sure this is clear who's saying this shit.
Yeah, my name's Kurt. This is not Graham.
Not
I'll
Graham.
just
Yeah.
start out by saying not Graham.
Hey, I
name's
didn't
Graham.
say anything different.
Actually, no,
to be
we should all
honest.
just say it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
See, if I hadn't
We're all
confused
Graham.
that earlier, then we probably wouldn't have had this problem.
So the first time I ever got arrested, I think I was 12, and me and my buddy went and stole a bottle of Southern Comfort from the store and went back to his house, and I had ran away from my home at the time. So we go back to his house, and this is like the first time really that I drank too, and for some reason that Southern Comfort just tasted real good to me, so I drank pretty much the whole bottle in probably about 15 minutes.
Oh my god.
And needless to say, got alcohol poisoning from that. So my buddy's parents are coming home for lunch or whatever, and he's trying to like drag me out of the house that I just puked in every single room in. And he's gonna like take me across the street to the schools across the street while his parents are coming home, so he doesn't get in trouble. You know, which I'm so glad that didn't happen because I would have died. But I ended up like passing out in the gutter, just like pretty much naked. You know, like, yeah, if you can imagine a drunk naked 12-year-old passing out in the gutter, a lot of people were stopping on the street going like, well, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I call that Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In the afternoon.
That was Professor Pruss.
No,
So eventually the cops came and they put me in the car and took me to the hospital, and I got my stomach pumped, which I don't remember any of this. I remember waking up handcuffed to a gurney with a cop next to me, and my first thought was I looked up at the clock and it was 7, and I was like, I gotta be at school in like an hour, and he's like, yeah, it's 7 at night, and so they took me to juvenile hall, and that was the first night I spent in juvenile hall. Little did I know there'd be a lot more.
Oh yeah.
It was awful.
wow. This is Graham. Rather than retell some of the times when I was arrested,
It's not required.
I'll plead the fifth.
Yeah,
First off,
I was gonna say it's not required.
But I have strikingly similar stories to those that we
Fair
just said. But I will say I would like to tell a story that was I think my favorite time being involved, or one of the most interesting stories that I have of being involved with law enforcement. So I did my field research, field school down in Arizona, in this little town called Arivaca. That's right north of right north of the border, south of Tucson. Right, so it's north of Nogales. Right, the Nogales crossing. and it's a contested area. It's called the people down there many call it a Constitution free zone because you have to go into like checkpoints to actually get into this town inside the United States.
Yeah.
Right. And if you can even go in or out of this town. And so this is it's a pretty sort of extreme place. And when I'm talking about this story is from 2009. So this is 10 years ago, long before sort of the current, sort of issues. So this stuff's been going on for a long time is sort of the point, right? So as part of the field research, we actually, it was archaeological. So this is, we actually were looking at the layup sites of people's stuff that they left as they moved across the border to understand sort of what they were leaving behind and what it said about this migration that was occurring, that was often sort of hidden and silenced and made illegible, one might say. Not unintelligible, illegible. So as part of that, we were doing that. We were, seeing. So we're collecting this stuff. We're we're going to mass deportation hearings and watching this stuff. We're, talking with and interviewing Border Patrol. We're, going with them along the actual border and seeing. They're taking us out and showing how the process works. So we're deeply involved with these whole people. They all know that we're there, and we have a whole U-Haul truck full of backpacks that were taken from the desert, right? That have been left in the desert, right? But they were cleaned up and sort of to be documented as part of this archaeological sort of, study. And the day that we're leaving, it was known that we were only going to be there for this certain amount of time. Again, we're working really closely with the Border Patrol and everything. The day that we're leaving, the night before, we're all out partying and stuff, because it's field school and we're all getting drunk and everything. This is back when I was drinking. I should mention, today is my 5th year.
Congratulations.
Today is my 5th year.
And that is a sandwich.
And that is a sandwich. There we go. Thank you. So I'll try to make this story short. I'm sorry. But so we'd all been out drinking and stuff. We're all partying it up the night before. And the next morning, we're all going to pack up and go, right? Or the U-Haul's already packed up, but we're going to kind of get our stuff together and go. And we wake up in the morning all hungover, all and there's a knock on the door, and one of the students goes up and opens the door and says, "Oh, there's police here." And we look out, and we're being raided by a swarm of federal agents with machine rifles. There's helicopters swooping, coming in overhead. There's 2 helicopters. There's suddenly looking around, and there's vans filling in, driving down the roads. It's like something out of a movie where they're suddenly out of everywhere. They are in the backyard. You can see them through the window. There's dogs. There's everything. We're getting fully raided. And the student, who I guess was probably still a little bit hungover, and was I think maybe we should do something about this, right? And so we're we should at least tell the professor, right? We're students here, right? And so we tell the guy, Jason, who, to be honest, is a year younger than I am, right? So he's he didn't, he as this happens. And he comes out, and he's pretty hungover, and he's he actually didn't say anything. He walks right up the door. He opens the door. The guys look at him. There's by this point there's dozens of cops around with fucking rifles pulled, dogs barking, everything, full fucking alarm.
Damn.
And the main guy says, "Excuse me, sir. We would, we're here because we understand that you've been out in the desert and you've been have this, vans full of this stuff, and we would like to, take a look at everything to make sure everything's okay before you go." And he goes, "Do you have a warrant?" And they go, "Well, we know the legal procedures to do this, and we know this." And he goes, "I know. I've been working with you. I'm here. Do you have a warrant?" And they go, "Well, we could go and get a warrant, but we just want to make sure everything's okay. We have everyone here, and I'm sure there's not a problem." He goes, "Oh, there's no problem. Come back with a warrant, and we're good."
Goddamn right.
And boom, that was it. They shut the whole thing down, left.
Know your goddamn rights, people.
Boys and girls, know your rights. Right? And I think that's the moral of that story is understand your legal rights, because, to be honest, you can actually shut these cops down pretty quickly, that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my story.
Damn.
Good story. Do you want me to say it?
Go for it.
Okay, you guys on your toes? 30-second shout out to all your favorite bands. Go.
Truck Bad Boy.
Robert's Roost.
Bird Teeth.
Dr. Jello from Brereton.
Are they brothers?
20 seconds.
Detroni Brothers,
Pretty Birds
F-Con.
got killed. They're dead though.
Bad Things.
Generation Decline,
Burn, burn, burn.
F-Con.
Broken Dead, fucking
Oh, I love that band. Crocodile Night Hours, Murray Frago.
Sanatorium Hill. Bailey Ukulele.
5,
Who else?
Foley
we got?
Locust.
Generation Decline.
2,
Rick Love, Orion.
1.
John
Snaps
Underwood.
for the
John Underwood. There you go.
Butterflies are dead.
Yeah, that's harder than it's.
Yeah, that was
seems.
tricky. Wow. I like that you guys gave no prep for that one.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
good.
Go. That's a fun one. So where do folks find your music, like on the internet and stuff like that? Where do people go?
I think we're on Spotify. We're on the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. I think we're also on. Are we on
Reverb
Pandora?
Nation.
Can't remember.
I think we're yeah. You know, it's weird how like YouTube like strips all that stuff and like grab your music and they created this like little. Do you guys have that happen to you?
I'm not sure.
Like they actually like we had this thing where like we went on there and like all of our songs are like with our logo on there and like
Oh,
suddenly
weird.
there's like little YouTube videos of our songs
Oh,
and we're like what the
that's
hell?
cool.
Like, I guess except that like. I mean, it's cool. Like honestly,
Yeah.
we don't make anything of our albums anyway because like we sell them in person. Generally,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
so if you want to
So it's like a
contribute
playlist?
to the
Is
band, you know, you buy something
Yeah,
at
it's
the
like a
show. But
playlist.
otherwise, yeah, they just basically
Someone's
grab.
masquerading as Butterflies of Death.
I think
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe somebody just.
I wonder. Do you guys use one of
Maybe
those
that's
like
cool.
Could have been Tom, honestly.
those like CD Baby or Root Note or
Yeah,
anything like that?
yeah. We use
I think,
CD
I think
Baby, I
they do
believe.
that. I
Maybe
think
that's
that when
it.
you post it to them, they'll post it to your YouTube channel when you connect it. But you have to connect your YouTube channel to them though. You
Yeah.
know? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't understand. I don't understand
It's-
this whole like
It's crazy. Like,
digital publishing crap. Like I don't get
it gives
it.
me a headache.
I don't get. Yeah, me too. Like I mean, I don't know. I grew up from the day when we just, you know, you sold stuff at shows, right?
It
I think
on
that's
CD
still
and
the only
sell
way I
it.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, and that's
Oh,
kinda,
that's the next question. What about
Yeah.
physical merchandise? Can they buy it from you? Can they go
Yeah.
to like a website or contact
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys? Or
Yeah. So generally, you can. We have tons of merch and stuff at our shows, which is you know generally with our logo and
Yeah.
stuff. And our albums. We're actually working on a whole bunch of material with our new lineup here for a new album that
I'm
we're
excited.
hoping to do this spring. I think is what we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Sweet.
You know,
yeah.
with a whole bunch of new stuff. But yeah, you can get merch from us at our shows, or you
You can contact any one of us if you want to.
You can contact us on the Facebooks. You can find the Butterflies of Death there. You can also find us on Reverb Nation, like I said. Or
I think we actually have a butterfliesofdeath.com as well.
we do,
Sweet.
but I'm
Hell
not
yeah,
sure how long
man.
we're going to have it.
See?
You know, and I know it's not like everyone feels like it's taboo and no one wants to be saying it, but go to Butterflies of Death Facebook pages and like the pages of all the things.
And
like,
follow their
it's a thing.
YouTube.
Like people are always taboo Facebook numbers. It's like that's a thing. People look up your page and be like, "Oh dang, those guys are pretty known. Like let's share their shit and move stuff around." Like,
Yeah,
you guys are
yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
You
nice.
guys are awesome.
It's
Go
nice
like
for
them.
networking. For
Network,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to share information
Yeah.
too, and you know, and I think like a lot of bands, you know, you do as well. You know, I think it's a great platform for sharing other information too, beyond just
Yeah,
stuff about your band.
exactly,
It's
yep.
a great way to share like other bands, you know, and your friends' music, but also like you know ideas and things that we can do to get better involved. You know, like I
Yep.
talk like a lot about my research stuff, and you know we have like a oh, so this is something to share too. We have a running sort of rule that when we play shows that are charged, right? The whole, you know, no one's turned away for lack of funds. But in particular, if it is a charged show, let us know, and we'll put you on our guest list.
Guest
Yeah, we
Oh,
try
yeah,
we try to
that's
save at least one or two for people that can't afford to come in.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, like
awesome.
and that's legit.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like always, so if you like for real, just hit us up. It's not there's no shame to that game. So
Sweet. Hell yeah. Okay, what is the most important thing that you think people need to hear? Either music or like
a
a message,
message
that you
or-
could say?
Well, for me, it's just be good to each other. We only got each other in this world. There ain't nothing else. So,
Bill and Ted said it best, man.
yep, be excellent to each
yeah,
other.
it's not too That's a good one.
You know, that's not the first time that's been said on this podcast.
yeah, really?
Yeah, it's not the first
That's great. Sage advice.
Just to be opposite of Kurt, I'd say talk shit lovingly.
There you go. Be critical.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Do no
Tough
harm,
love.
but take no shit.
I like it.
Good. I think it's
You talk too much already.
true. I know, I talk too
Tough
much.
shit.
I talk
Tough
too much.
love.
Yeah, this is what. Yeah, the important message everyone needs to hear. Graham talks too much.
That's
Okay.
right. Graham
Okay.
does talk too much. I just want to say, I think my only message would be that that the shit that divides us hurts us.
Yep, that's the thing. Yeah. Okay, so if we were to play 2 songs of y'all's on said podcast at the end, what would you guys want us to play?
One of my favorites is Black Kitty Cats for sure.
Black Kitty Cats.
What do you think?
Egg,
Egg, shake, and
shake,
drive for the other
egg,
one?
shake, drive.
Yeah.
No, or Universal.
Egg and shake, drink, but it's pretty long.
That's okay.
It's like
Yeah.
a 9-minute song, something like that. But that's
Yeah, that's
Home Without a
awesome.
Home is also good because it's about living in a car, and
Yep.
so it's touches on some issues there. Sip and Cuba Libres.
They
Also
said
good.
2 songs.
But the 2 songs I would say. Those first 2.
Black Kitty Cats and Egg and Shake Dre.
Yeah, that'd be the
Cool.
2.
Okay, yeah, cool. We'll do it. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Like,
Thanks for hanging out with
Thank
us
you.
and for
Yeah.
y'all
helping
heard
us
it on
out.
the Ragged Bones podcast, Butterflies of Death from Seattle.
Thank you for the honor. You guys are great. Good job.
You guys are great.
It's good to see you guys again.
Hey, Mark, can we take a quick break for a brief word from our sponsors?
Oh, Ren, that's a great idea.
Looking for that new hit piece of merch that won't break the bank? Bob's Angry Pins can help. They produce high-quality custom pin back buttons for bands, businesses, events, and more. Reference Ragged Bones Podcast and you'll receive 10% off your first order. Start yours by getting in touch today. Facebook.com/Bob's Angry Pins. Bob's Angry Pins at gmail.com.
Hey, I loved y'all's set. You guys have band shirts? No? Well, what are you waiting for? Call now for DIY t-shirts. One color, ink design on sustainably sourced used shirts that are better for the environment and come in a variety of sizes, styles, and color for a comparable cost to what you'd get them from a big corporation. Call Jeff at 860-908-2064 or search Jeff Butler Trio on Facebook. That's JEFFBUTLER Trio.
Hey, y'all ever heard of a band called Steel City Joke Slammers? They got a new album out called Hot Butter. Hot Butter is a spreadable form of audio twang, hot and dripping through your ear holes. Full fat, full cream, full flavor. Ask for it by name. Hot Butter, the new album from Steel City Joke Slammers.
Hi, I'm Logan from Misdemeanor. Have you thought about shitting your pants? Why use a toilet when you can just shit your pants? Shit your pants. Try it. It's free. Maybe just shit your pants.
dirty scratch of kitty cats. They gouge out our eyes, leave us blind and full of petty tails. This and that, frick and frack, kitty cats that cross your path. Smile all the while, walking miles in your private jets. But kiss them on the wall to prove you cared enough to see and fail. Stare at the sky, stupefied. Then this tail's got milk as black. Kitty cats, wicked cat will make you start again. What is it about? Twirling with dervishes, spinning and reeling, we're riding and feeling and dancing like Molly Ringwald. Drunken on life and drink pushed from the ceiling, we took it like starlings enshrined in debutante's ball. Darkness receding and memories revealing that happiness was glistening and sweat on your skin, and it's burning the number, then flipping and feeding the fires. Fears and cheers of the execution. Now rise to the bow like some radiant billy goat, gruff and proud to the end. There's no cursing out loud. Here's a silk purse from his house. Here these patterns we hold dear, the lies we pretend. Rejoice, because this life we're living. Regret only the moments when you stop singing. Dance like there's no tomorrow, not today. We out your tapestries and display that we fill up. We raise it straight to the end of it, just for the fuck of it. Like a shag a dray, 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 like a shag a Well, it's been 7 years of broken sleep. We won't give up the ghost. And every moment seems way too deep, and it's really just a joke. The band's been rising to a roar, but we just won't let us sing. You stupid joke, you fucking poor, you petty little thing. Flop down smack in the middle of a room, blast out in broken days. Woke up drunk, thinking of sweat and blues with just another price to pay. Hung around like sniffle up a kiss. We dream and deliver a personality of a hippopotamus. Cause we're the stone and the river. We try to maintain a positive attitude while we wait for the rebound in our fake dance based on platitudes. It comes on like a fever. revel with rebels rounding the offing of an Australian shitter. I'm flush with antitheses relatively. Dark closer than sigh. Build up our moments and hang them to dawns and jump the fall. Flush from the flesh, we build up our hopes and compare them to shit. Feeling all faithless in our philosophies, trapped in these all too familiar soliloquies, jacked up on Jonas's, jerk-offs and failed, feeling inadequate, a pudding and failed, rabble-rousing in our pup full of bluster, our lives give much more, they've lost to the luster, literally butterfly tears, and dread our hopes away, revolutions and riots, we will live out another day. Us to dust is deep in our hearts, enraptured with lust. Condemn all your sins, which guide you to worry. Rejoice in your venom, send fire and fury, and that's little death. Well, it may lead the way, or at least some distraction to forget all that sullen days we tossed off our futures. Cross turbulent waves, twisted triangular and deep in yesterday. Rejoice, because this life is for living. Regret only the moments when you stop singing. Dance like there's no tomorrow, nor today. We've got your tapestries and displayed. We fill up and we raise it straight to the end of it, just for the fuck of it. I got Shagga Dry. 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 Get 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 Shagga 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 Dry.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you'd like to seek out or support any of the artists we've hosted today, we've attached links to this episode.
We're pretty darn hardworking artists ourselves, so if you'd like to show us some love and support, you can find us through our music, Robbers Roost.
Hey, check out our Patreon. It's probably the best way to support us. Also, check us out on social media because we plan to release these every Tuesday. Spill the beans, Ren.
Search for Robbers Roost, podcast or band on any platform. We got merch, tour dates, and all the fun stuff.
Ragged Bones from Broken Homes. This has been another episode with Mark.
And Renegade.
Stay tuned, folks.
Is that a musician joke?